Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys tuning in for today's video. Always very grateful for that. And guys, today we're going to sort of have a comprehensive discussion on rain and how rain affects bass and what you need to do when it's raining, what you don't need to do when it's raining, because there's a lot of variables with it, man. There's a lot to be considered in and around the type of rain that you have, the conditions, all the factors associated around it. So we're going to sort of run the gamut here and just go over every possible scenario and sort of give you guys some good tips and advice in today's video. Also, guys, real quick before we get started here, just like to invite everybody, if you guys are interested in supporting advanced bass fishing, the number one thing you guys can do to do that is just to use and bookmark my tackle warehouse link that I put in the description of each video. If you guys do that and use that link to purchase your tackle, it's a big help to the channel, as well as using all the other links we put in there. So a big thank you from me and my family for everybody that's been doing that. We really appreciate it. Okay, guys, let's get into this rain thing, because man, if you bass fish, at all, rain's just a fact of life. You're going to have to deal with it unless you're just a fair weather angler and you choose not to go out on the days and it's raining. But most people, if you fish competitively on any level, you're going to have to. And some people, you're out there for a weekend of fishing, fun fishing, and you get caught in the rain. So a couple different things with this. Now, first of all, nobody likes to get rained on. I don't know anybody that does. It's uncomfortable. You're wet. Even the best rain suits don't really keep you that dry. So one of the first things that you have to do is you sort of have to make this mental shift a little bit when it starts raining. That you're going to get wet and you may be a little bit uncomfortable. And that's just part of it, because in general, when it's raining, most of the time the fishing's better. It activates the fish because it decreases the light level. There's a lot of factors that go along with that. The bass are more apt to make mistakes. They get a little bit more aggressive depending upon the time of the year. So in general, when it's raining, it is a good thing. The only time that rain is not really a good thing is if you are fishing in really muddy water, or if you're fishing in extremely cold water. So if you guys are fishing in the winter time, like when the water temperature's in the 40s, rain is not going to really benefit you that much. And the same if you're fishing in a really, muddy impoundment where that water visibility is like less than 12 inches, rain's not going to help you in that situation either. If that actually can sometimes hurt you. So I think the first thing to consider is, what is it about rain that activates the fish? And I think a lot of it has to do with it makes the fish more comfortable. Anytime that you have a low light condition, the bass get more comfortable. They're less aware. They can't see as well. They tend to make more mistakes. That's why, the ultimate low light level is fishing at night. That's why fishing is always better at night. And that's why usually fishing is better on cloudy days and rainy days, because you have those low light conditions. So what you're going to find in rain, how it affects and how it positively affects the bite versus negatively, it all has to do with the combination of water clarity and water temperature. In general, the cleaner the water is, as long as the water temperature is over about 55 degrees, that is going to be your best scenario for activating those fish that are normally inactive. And you don't necessarily have to have warm water, but you have to have water at about 55 degrees. One thing that I've noticed is there's a temperature variation where those fish really react to rain. And most of the time when that water temperature is between like 55 and 70 degrees and you have rain accompanied by clear water, ideal scenario to activate the fish. But if the water temperature gets really warm, like say it's up in the 80s in the middle of the summer and it's raining, it doesn't do that much. There's something about it that warm water and rain, low light conditions don't really activate the fish quite as much. And I think that's probably because there's maybe not as many fish up shallow, or their mood and their personalities aren't affected that much about it. Maybe they key on more on shade. But the best time to fish in the rain is when that water temperature is 55 to 70, which is usually, anywhere between, say from March to May, and then again from like October into early December. Those are the times that the rain really has a big influence on it. Now, the rain is always a positive as far as activating the bass to chase a little bit more as long as you have that water clarity that is probably about at least 2 foot. Anytime you get water visibility of under 2 foot, you're not going to see that type of an immediate impact from having a rainy day. Maybe 2 foot, but especially when you start getting around 12 to 15 inches of visibility, it's not going to be that big of a deal. Ideally, as far as what I have seen in my own fishing, the best scenario to activate the fish, to get them really biting good, is when you have, say, 3 to 5 foot of water visibility and you have that water temperature, in the 60s. That's perfect conditions to take advantage of a rainy day. So considering that, that's what you have to make your decision by. And hold on, guys, I got a text real quick. I got to answer this. Sorry about that. I'm back here. Now, another factor to consider once you have those scenarios where you've got, water visibility of over 3 feet and you've got some rain, is the intensity of the rain and the intensity of the overcast and the wind that comes along with that. Because all three of those factors will determine the light penetration that you have based upon that. Because, say, for example, if you got some light rain, a lot of times with light rain, you can have some thin clouds that aren't really creating a lot of low light. A light rain, maybe with not much wind about it, not much wind with it, that doesn't create the same type of environment if you have say a moderate rain with a considerable overcast, like a thick cloud cover, and you may have a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind with it. So in general, the combination of the wind speed, the water visibility, and the intensity of the rain will also dictate how active that makes the fish. And a lot of this has to do, again, with your correlating water temperature. And for the most part, I want to sort of stay in this 55 to 70 degree range, because that's really the premium time to take advantage of the rain. But most of the time, the fish are not going to be they're not going to be biting real good if it's just a downpour. I mean, I have some of the toughest fishing I've ever had is those days where it's raining and it's raining really hard. Sometimes that can turn the fish off. I have simply not been that successful under those conditions unless the water is really, really clear. So I like just some type of a light, moderate rain. And I usually like some type of a light breeze with it. Not like a heavy breeze, but just something enough to break the water surface up with. So like a 5, maybe 10 mile an hour wind at the most, combined with a light, moderate rain and some type of a moderate cloud intensity as far as the cloud ceiling up there. Once you get those conditions, once you get a little bit of wind and some clean water and a light to moderate rain, and you got water temperatures 55 to 70 degrees, that makes for some really good fishing, especially if the rain and the clouds have just come in. Now, here's another scenario that you really have to remember when you're talking about rain. The best time to fish in the rain is when it first starts raining, like the first day it starts raining. Let's say a front was on the way in and it's been partly cloudy or cloudy or something like that for a day or two prior, and then it starts raining. You can expect the best fishing to be like the first day, maybe the second day into that. But if you have one of those situations where you have like a stationary front that's stalled and it's raining a little bit every day and it's cloudy every day, after about 2 or 3 days, there's a negative effect that comes with it. It's like the fish don't react as well. They don't become aggressive, and they tend to hang on the bottom more. They don't chase the baits like they do when it first starts raining. So a lot of the techniques that you fish when it's raining has to do with how long it has been raining, for the time frame, and all the factors we just talked about. Now, when you get, let's say, for example, you get the ideal scenario here where it's 60 degree water, 65 degree water, you got some clean water, you got a 5 mile an hour wind, and it's the first day the rain came in. You can expect to catch them on your power moving baits under these conditions. It could be anything between a top water to a spinner bait to a crankbait to a glide bait. It's all conditional based upon the type of lake you're fishing, as far as the type of fish that are in it, the type of cover, the time of year. But the moving baits, the baits that move through the water column horizontally, are going to be really good on that first day or two when it starts raining. Now, after that rain has set in for a while, or say, for example, you've had an extended period of overcast and maybe the rain is sort of on and off, after you've had this extended period of overcast for 2 or 3, 4 days, those moving baits aren't going to be as good, and you're going to have to move to the bottom, and you're going to have to start fishing on the bottom, like with your jigs and your shaky heads, Ned rigs, football head jigs, that type of stuff. Because for some reason, once the light levels have been low for so long in the lake, the fish, they just don't chase as much. It's just sort of a reality of bass behavior that you can't really explain about it. Not to say that you can't catch them on something else, but the bite significantly changes with that. The thing that you really have to take advantage of, though, is where these fish move up at when it starts raining. So the advantage that you want to take on this are the places that the fish can pull up and down from very quickly. So that's why when it's raining, some of my favorite areas to fish are like main lake or secondary points, main lake banks, places that have close access to deep water, like some type of a steep channel bank or maybe a bluff bank, because the fish, those fish that live close to deep water, which are usually on the points or the steeper banks or the bluffs, it's easy for them they can move up and down. They can move from 2 foot of water down to 30 foot of water in a matter of seconds. And that's what they do. When you get these conditions where you have some wind and some rain, they take advantage of that, and they cruise to the bank and they go hunting. They hunt for whatever forage is available. It could be frogs, snakes, it could be crawdads, it could be perch, it could be anything that they can get in shallow water, because for the most part, you're going to have more food in shallow water, and that's the fish are going to be up there taking advantage of that. So it's in general, it's like there's very few times where the wind will not help, when the rain will not help you out. Most of the time, it will help you out, but you have to take advantage, and you have to consider all those variables that I just talked about. Some lakes are going to be more, advantageous than others. For example, like where I live here in the Ozarks, like Table Rock Lake, Bull Shoals Lake, Beaver Lake, we got clear water, so the fish really react positively to rainy days. The rainy days are our best fishing days. And that's pretty much true across lakes across the country like that. Like if you fish Lake Lanier in Georgia, Lake Norman, all those eastern Kentucky, Tennessee lakes that have clear water, fishing is always going to be better in the rain. But if you have, say, a river system you fish, say you fish on the Ohio River or the Potomac River, or maybe you're fishing Sam Rayburn Lake and you're fishing deep grass beds, or you're on a lake that's got some off-colored water like Lake Eufaula, Alabama, it's not going to help quite as much. It can still help you out, but not quite as much. Main thing that you can take away from this video, guys, is when the rain first starts, you got the first day of the rain, and you've got those conditions I laid out there, pick up your spinner baits, pick up your top waters, your chatter baits, your shallow running crankbaits, your glide baits, and your swim baits, and take advantage of it. And like I said, after it's been raining for a long time, put those things away, start dragging a football head jig, fish some stuff on the bottom, and generally will pay off more. But you try to get out there when it's raining, guys. It's so much easier. Like right now, it's like, let's say, for example, you and I go fishing in October at Table Rock. If we get a day out there that it's like, say it's 70 degrees out and our water temperature's in the 60s and it's raining in October, we're going to catch some fish, and we're going to catch some fish power fishing. But if we go out there in that same situation and say it's sunny with not much wind, middle of October, it's going to be hard to catch them. So in general, they activate the fish, they make them bite better, and try to get out there and take advantage of it when you can. So hope it helps you guys out. We'll talk later.